Hi everyone, I'm Karen Combs and welcome to my FlossTube number 37. It is September 10th and I am filming this on the 10th and we'll probably upload it in just a little while if everything cooperates. This is my channel for, well, this particular video is going to be all about stitching. But you'll also find different videos on my channel, quilting. There's even a recipe video, so you can look at the different playlists for that. But I want to thank you for joining me. It's been about 3 weeks since I did my last video, and I've got piles everywhere around here to show you, and I'll probably have to stop the video and retool at least once, maybe twice. We'll see. But it's been lots of stitching, and many of you are participating in Sampler September, and you might wonder, well, what is Sampler September? It's basically where we stitch samplers, and there are several hashtags. So if you're on Instagram, if you look for the hashtag Sampler September, you will see what people are working on, and those are samplers, but can be new samplers, something someone has created. But there's also another hashtag that is Sampler September Soiree, which if you're doing a reproduction sampler, you can use that. But I think you could probably just use Sampler September too, however you want to do it. But I've got some of both to show you. And before I get into, I'm going to show you what I've been stitching on. I have some finishes. And I have some kind of cleanup things from last time to show you. So let's do that first. And the last time that we were together, I showed you, or I mentioned, because I couldn't show you because it was over there, the book that I purchased, The Proper Stitch by Darlene Osteen. And what I did is I took it to the local office supply store and had them put a comb binding on it. And what was kind of interesting is they cut off the spine. And they said, do you want this? And I thought, yeah, I do, because it could be a bookmark. So I did take that, but I think it was like $4.32 with tax to get the comb binding. And so now I can lay it totally flat when I'm looking at it. So I wanted to show you that. I know the attic had some available. Check with them. And this is a reprint by Annie's, so that they may have it as well. But I know Jean mentioned that they had some and they were getting low. So do check on that. That's Benji. Are you okay? Sorry about that. Not quite sure. Let me stop and see what's going on with him. Sorry about that. He seems to be okay. That was kind of a combination of a yip from pain, or a bark, and a sneeze, and a cough, and I wasn't sure if he was okay, because usually he just lays by me and sleeps, but he seems to be fine. He's been taking it out and giving him his noontime snack, so he should be good. I wanted to mention some shout outs. I want to thank some people for the nice shout outs they have mentioned on my channel. Sable Stitchers, love that channel. So they gave me a wonderful shout out, as did Periwinkle Stitcher. And I'm going to put the links to these YouTube channels in the description. Also, Catherine Stitching and Costume, another good YouTube channel if you haven't seen Catherine's channel. And Jessica Sweetwater Stitcher, I just watched her new video, or her new FlossTube, last evening. It was excellent. And also Jackie at Comfort Stitching. I want to thank all of you for the nice shout outs. And we also talked about last time the DAR Museum and their exhibit Sewn in America. And I had seen, I was thinking, is it Made in America, Sewn in America? They did a Tuesday talk which, as I mentioned, I had to watch it while I was at the grocery store and taking the dog to the groomer. And I wondered if it could be viewed anywhere. And I did find a YouTube link, as well as several of you mentioned it in the comments. So thank you for that. And I'm going to put the Tuesday talk link to the exhibit at the DAR Museum, Sewn in America, in the description box as well. So you have a chance to watch it at your leisure. And while I'm talking about talks, there is one coming up this week. This is Tuesday, the 10th. On the 12th of September, which is just in 2 days, the Litchfield Historical Society is having a mini seminar, and it's called With Thy Needle. I wrote it down. And of course, can I read it? Because no, I don't have my glasses on. With Thy Needle. And they're going to have several speakers. I think some of it's done in conjunction with the Royal School of Needlework. It's on Zoom, but you need to register for it. If you are a member of the Litchfield, which is Litchfield, Connecticut, Historical Society, it's $15. If you are not a member, it's $20, and it is starting at 12:30 Eastern Time, going till 3:30. And I think they have 3 different programs. So I've registered for it, looking forward to it. It's all on Zoom. I will put that in the description box as well. Since it's a paid seminar, I don't know if you'll be able to see it afterwards. If you are, or if they make it available, I will let you know. So I'll put a link to that too. So what have I been working on? Well, I put some pictures of my flowers. The garden's looking pretty bad. Parts are okay. Parts are looking bad. But I did deadhead a lot of flowers, pulled some up, and you saw a picture of the flowers that I pulled this morning and put in jars. And some of those I'm going to take to neighbors this afternoon once I finish with the video here and get it all uploaded. I have some finishes, and I have things I've been working on, things I want to work on, some haul, and then we will talk about the quilts that I'm going to be gifting to 3 lucky people. So we'll talk all about that. Should I do finishes? Let's do finishes first, and then I'll show you what I'm working on. So you saw this when it was a piece of linen. The piece of French linen that I found at the local antique store. I've made it into a pillow. And the linen had some details, which I put on the back. So it had this band, and then it also had a smaller initial set. So this is French General fabric, and I thought I don't want to miss using those details. So there's the back. Here's the front. And I don't know if you remember, but back in July, I mentioned that I had picked up a shaker box when I was in Kentucky. And guess what? It fits perfectly. And I just added this little Sajou pincushion, so that I might put something else in there, but I know I talked about doing some other little pillows to go with it. I might just do it like this because it makes a nice little vignette. So that's one of my finishes, and I'm so glad I got that done rather than just looking at that piece of linen thinking I should make that into a pillow. So there it is, and I guess I could display it that way too, but that way I've saved both the initials and that little detail of the linen. So that's one finish. And then I did finish my, get that out, the GH 1857. It's a beautiful sampler. Let me pull a picture of it. And then it's got smalls. Where's the sampler? There, I can show you. There's some details. There's the sampler. There are the smalls. It's absolutely stunning, and I decided to do the mattress pincushion because I loved the house in this sampler, and then it's got this nice border. So I finished that, and this is my first time ever doing a pincushion, let alone a mattress pincushion. It's not perfect by any means, but it's done, and I love it. So here it is, and let me see if I can kind of show you the corners. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. And I opted not to do much on the back, other than just put the year. This is 46 count Old Mushroom by XJU, and it's the Vicki Clayton Silk Pack, which is right here. So these are the colors, and you can see several of the colors are used multiple times, or there's multiple bobbins, so it'll be used a lot. I opted to do the small first because I started the sampler because I wanted to see how it looked on the linen. So here's one corner. That's the upper left corner, upper right corner. I don't know if we can show this. I had a question about why do I start in the upper left corner, upper right corner, sorry. Why do I start there? And this is, sometimes I start on the left side, sometimes I start on the right side, sometimes I start on the right bottom. Usually if there's something really fun I want to do at the bottom, that's where I'll start. But the way I stitch is, it's opposite of the way so many times it's shown in a book. I go from top left to bottom right as my first leg, and then top right to bottom leg left as my second leg. So for me, starting on the right side is a smoother stitching path going that way. I can go left to right, but I find if I'm using the sewing method especially, going right to left for me is easier because of the way that I cross my X's. I don't know if I can show this up close, if it'll show. Let's see how close. It's kind of fuzzy. There it is, and that's why often you'll see me starting on the right side. It's just for me an easier way, a quicker way of stitching. I did have a question about these bobbin cases, and I'll put a link to them. I got them at Amazon, and this foam, when you first push the bobbin in, it doesn't feel like it's going to fit. Just give it a nice shove down in there, and the foam will fit to it. Because when I first bought them, I thought, oh, this isn't going to work. But it works just fine, holds it well, and you just make sure they're pushed down in there. And the foam, it's a stiff foam, but it'll adapt for that. So that is second finish. And I don't have any plans to work on the sampler right now, but I do have everything together. I'm just going to put it all back together. So when I'm ready to work on it, I have everything. So second finish. Let me move those over. And the third finish is Sarah Milthrop. I know I talked to you about this last time that I was close, and I thought I could finish, and I did. And I almost didn't show it, and I'll show you why in a minute. But let me show you what really is fun. Get it right here. It's already framed. So what I used was 46 count Thornfield by Needle and Flax, and I received the pattern or the chart at Sampler Symposium in 2023, and it was kitted with, I had selected 40 count. It had 40 count creme brulee, and I started it on the creme brulee, and I'm using 103 silks. And I thought, I want to do smaller. So I decided to use some 46 count Thornfield, which will be important in a minute because, let's see if I can pull this out. If you do it on 40 count, it's 11.8 times 12.4, approximately 12 by 12, just a little bit different than that. If you do it on 46 count, it is 10.26 by 7.78, so a little smaller. That's going to be important in a moment because I had it finished and I had it laid out and I went over it, I thought, with a fine-tooth comb, checking all the stitches, make sure I had crossed all the legs. I found a couple spots, and there's a lot of different colors on the border here. And I found a couple where I hadn't put the inside color, finished that. I checked it, double checked it, laid it out, ironed it, had it ready to frame. And then I was at a local antique shop. And for some reason, I just felt I should go to this antique shop. And you've seen things I've purchased from there before. And I haven't been in a while. And I thought, I'm going to go. And I'm walking around in the favorite booths I always go to. I didn't see anything. And I just thought, well, maybe it's just not my day to find anything. And way in the back, and I almost didn't go down that aisle because it's way in the back. And some of the booths are under construction forever. So they're just kind of a mess. And I thought, I'm not going to go there. But I said, no, look through everything. And look what I found. I found this beautiful wood frame with this sampler. Now, this sampler, I've already taken it out of the frame. The sampler says 1828, but as I looked at it, I thought, that is not an 1828. I think it's newer, just has an old date. And so doing some searching, it's from 1985. It's a Margaret and Margaret sampler. But when I saw this frame, I thought, well, that fits, Sarah. So I took it home and laid Sarah on it, and I said, I think it's going to fit. I think it's going to fit perfectly. So took it to the framer. We took everything apart, took this out, which this is going to go to my friend Cindy, and it fit perfectly with just a 1/4 inch around. And you're wondering, why didn't you want to show this? Well, I'll explain that in a minute, but here it is. I had originally thought of doing a black frame or a dark brown, but this frame pulls out the tones of the brown and the gold, and it's stunning. So here it is. Get where you can see it. Sarah Milthrop. And look at the frame. That's perfect color. I am so pleased with her. The silks are gorgeous. There is a little over one. The verse is over one, and then Sarah's name, which I did have to take out down around Sarah's name because I had left the L out, I think. So I did fix that. So did fix that. So I had it all framed. I love how the linen looks. I love the silks. I love everything. I took a picture of it, posted it on Instagram, sent some pictures to some of my little stitch group that we chat occasionally online, and occasionally we get to see each other in person, and everyone is saying, oh, it's beautiful. And then I saw it. And it just, I immediately deleted my post on Instagram, and I actually shed a few tears over it because I found a place I had missed some stitching. And I had all the emotions. I felt stupid. I felt frustrated. I felt angry that I had missed it and now it's framed. And so I posted back to my stitch group and I said, look what happened. And they were so supportive. And Cindy said it makes it unique. Georgia, this was perfect what she said. She said some other things, but she used the phrase, it's perfectly imperfect. And I thought, that's it. It's perfectly imperfect. I may take it apart and fix it, or I may leave it, because I actually don't mind how it looks, which I'm going to show you again. But I did hesitate showing it to you, and I don't think I'm going to post it again online, because I don't want to answer questions from, did you realize you missed it? Well, not till after it was framed, and yeah. So take a look now, because I don't think I'm going to show it again, but it is going to live right up there in my sewing room. And let me show this to you again. It is, notice the trees. That's what I left off, and I actually don't mind it. It looks symmetrical. So if it really starts to bug me, I will take it all apart, restitch it, and get it reframed. I just keep thinking what Jean says, always forward. But I hope when you see this, you're kind in your comments, because I almost didn't show it because I thought, am I going to get kicked out of the stitching community for messing this up and not catching it? So hopefully not. Hopefully I'll still be part of the community. But here it is. Now, those little tree baskets are not symmetrical in their colors. So I thought, you know, for me, I'm just going to leave it because they won't be symmetrical in their colors or their shape. So there it is. I love the linen. The silks are gorgeous. Let me show you again how perfectly it fits in this frame that I found. It's meant to be. So that is my finish, and enjoy seeing it, because I don't know if I'll show it again, which I'm going to the Great British Sampler Museum, and I wanted to take this to lay it out on the show and tell table because Nicola will be there, but I'm too embarrassed about my screw up. So I don't think I will, which makes me really sad, and I might change my mind. But let me, you know, we are imperfect creatures. But let me ask you, because several of my stitch group then shared pictures of samplers they had done. They shared it with me in our group of samplers they've done where they skipped a motif. So as one of my friends said, just move on. So that long story, but those are my finishes, and I do love how Sarah turned out. I am frustrated I missed that one section, but she is perfectly imperfect, as we all are imperfect. Let me show you what I've been working on, because it is Sampler September, and I have had a blast doing some of my samplers. And it's hard to pick. Wait till you see the pile of stuff I'm thinking about working on next. It's crazy. I have to live to 1,000,000, I think. But one of the things I spent quite a bit of time on is Mary Ann Kopp, 1839. This is by With Thy Needle and Thread. I know several people have worked on this. I think Jessica Sweetwater is working on it right now. Here are the called for, and I am doing the hand dyed. I think that's what it's called for. So here they are. Now there is one orange in here, Clockwork. Ooh, it's bright. Where is it? I should be able to spot it immediately. Is this the one? Nope. Yes it is. Yes it is. Hold on. Here it is. Clockwork. like Clockwork Orange, if any of you remember that. I don't think I ever saw that movie. It just, the talk about it scared me. So I was a teenager, so I don't think I ever saw the movie, but I remember the title. Now, clockwork is used right in the middle of the berry basket. It's also, and I'll hold this up to show the whole thing, but clockwork is also in the house. And I just thought it was going to be too bright, because it is really a strong color. So I decided to opt for a color that's still in the same color family, but just a tad darker. So it's still Weeks, and it is Carolina Cecil. And I'll show you that because I do have the chimney done. So here is Clockwork, there is Cecil. So you can see just a tad darker. So I think that'll make a bit of a difference. And then the mortar on the sampler is white. And I didn't like that. I thought it was too stark for me. So I decided to, I think I'm using chickpea, because it called for grits, which is white, or very light cream. I'm opting to use, I think it's chickpea. Thought about Dirt Road, but I think it's chickpea. So you'll see where I've used it. But here's what I've done so far. I love the basket, love how the stitches look. And I'm sorry it's not ironed, but just didn't have time. So started going down here. I've done the flowers, and it's a very elegant sampler. This light seems to be just a tad. Let me, there. And here's the basket. I see, you can see that clockwork in there. And then here's just the start. You can see the chimney and the color, which when I got the chimney done, I realized I did one section, one too many rows, so I've got to fix that little top. But look at that basket. So I think that color, using that Carolina Cecil, will be nice for the chimney. And Professor Stitch, I know many of you have watched her video, she showed this. And when she showed it, she was starting more down here. And I had started up here. So when she showed it, I gasped. I said, what a beautiful sampler. I need to get that. And then I realized, you have it. You've started it. You're up here. You haven't got to the house yet. So that's why I decided to, I worked on the border, worked on the top. So I think the top is almost all done, except for there's a flower here. So I wanted to get that done. And then I thought, well, I'll go down and do the berry basket and start on the house. And the house is pretty big, so it'll take a while. And then there's some beautiful motifs here. So I thought, well, I'll kind of switch between the motifs, the border, and the house. And then it's got 2 deer. So I've worked on that several days, maybe three or four. So that's one thing that I worked on. Let me move that right there. And then I also decided that Harriet Salt needed some attention, which I started this. Certainly it's not been 2 years. It has. That's shameful. It was. I sent an order to the attic and then called them because I wanted to do Harriet Salt. Jean had worked on her. She did 56 count, and I had never done 56 count. I had never done, worked on silk or with silk, and this was 2 years ago. And I was going to be having some knee surgery, which could require a long recovery. They didn't know till they get in there. So I thought, well, obviously Harriet Salt will be something that'll take me a while. So I called the attic, I placed an order, an email order, and then called them and said, send me 56 count, your choice of color, send me 46 count, in case I can't handle 56, send me the silks. And they said, well, do you want 103 or Swasserfie? And I said, yes, send both. I said, your choice of color, send a lighter version and a darker version, send me the needles I need. I'm brand new at this, I don't know what I need. So they put together a beautiful order for me, and they selected, and I meant to look this up, and I ended up doing the 56 count. It is 56 count weeks parchment, and I am using Swasserfie. $24.99. Except I am doing the initials of my family on a line with 103. That's a little darker, and I'm using 335. So these are the two colors, mostly the Swasserfie in the lighter, and occasionally the darker when I'm highlighting the initials. So what I was doing was working on it consistently, and then I put it up, and I haven't touched it. And I thought, what I'm going to do is every time I start to stitch for the day, I'm going to do one letter of Harriet Salt, or two, just depending on how I feel, and then move to the other project I want to work on. So I was, I think, on the second, maybe the third line, part of the third line. So here it is. So I've finished the third line, I'm starting on the fourth. And here she is, Harriet Salt. And you can see on the first line, I have my initials highlighted. Then I skipped a line. On the third line, I have my husband's initials highlighted, and then we skip to smaller letters starting on the fourth line. So I thought, well, I'm gonna, on the fourth line, put my daughter's initials. And here she is. Let me go close. So we've got the initials. And this is on 56 count. And I am using the 28 petite colonial needles on this, and it's perfect. I know we've talked about that, and Jackie at Comfort Stitching has talked about that. But I really do like those colonial needles. I picked mine up from, can't remember, Jackie shared a few with me, and then I purchased some from Etsy. I can't remember which store. But I did just see, I think it was Hobby House, has some in stock. But there's Harriet Salt, and I will finish, it's a D, and I will finish the D, and I might do part of the E before I work on my stitching today. So I've worked on her, and I think for me that's going to be a good way to do it, is do a little bit at a time. Then I'm not so overwhelmed, because it's a big sampler, and this is on 56 count, and look at this piece of linen. It's huge. So I'm just taking it a little bit at a time. And if you like Bristol samplers, which I do, obviously, there is a new stitch along, Judy Hall, and she's, if you're in the Facebook group, Our Sampler Years, she has started a new stitch along, a new SAL with a Bristol sampler, but she's also on Instagram. Let me make a note to put that link on Instagram. I don't want to forget. And she is doing Hands Across the Sea, Hope and Love. And this is a sampler that Nicola released in 2020, and it is free. So if you are interested, Judy has broken it down into, I think, 12-month segments. It's just work at your own pace, but there's quite a big group that's working on it. I am not going to do it because I want to work on Harriet. So I'm kind of watching from the sideline, cheering them on while I'm also working on a Bristol. And then now I got 2 more I worked on. I pulled Emmeline out, Emmeline Hotchkiss from Antique, Cross Stitch Antiques, Catherine Littleton. This is a Canadian sampler, and the colors are so unique, and it only uses 8 colors, believe it or not. And I think those are, it has the option for DMC, MPI 103, and a combination of Gentle Arts and Classic Colorworks. So I am using Gentle Arts and Classic Colorworks. So here are the colors. It looks like there's more than that. Oh, I got it tangled. There we go. Let's just do it like this so they look gorgeous. Oh, look at that. That's beautiful. But it's an interesting color. I know Kim, the Contented Needle Worker Kim, is also doing this. She changed the colors of the house. I decided to keep the colors, and one of the reasons I wanted to start this is my aunt, my great aunt, would be my grandmother's sister. Her name was Emmy. Well, we called her Aunt Emmy, but it was Emmeline. And I've been working on genealogy. I told you I'm cleaning out my family stuff and taking their research and adding it into the ancestry account my brother and I have. We have 3 Emmelines in that side of the family, my maternal side. It was a family name that I didn't realize. So my great aunt, my 3rd great aunt, and my 4th great grandmother all have the name Emmeline. And the 4th great grandmother was from upstate New York. So I just have to wonder if their family maybe came from Canada. And do a little more research on that. But here is Emmeline. I started at the bottom right corner because I wanted to get into that house right away. And I was going to try to finish more of it before I showed you, but I thought, well, if I just wait till a good stopping point, I'll never show you. So let me show it to you. And it is on, I think it's on Needle and Flax Farley. Look at my book of days here. I looked it up just to make sure. Yes, 40 count Farley, which is a newer color. I tried to get some more and haven't been able to yet. It's a really good golden color. Let's see. That's probably, if I get too close, the light blows it out. That's about the color. Oh, let me bring it up. Look at how gorgeous that is. Doesn't it look like more than 8 colors? So I'm just working on the house and did some of the border. Love the berry basket. There'll be another berry basket right up there. And I think the 2 sides are symmetrical. Looks like they are. This is the antique. So I am enjoying that. I will probably today at least get the outline of that house. There's some red that goes right down there. So that is Emmeline Hotchkiss. Really, really pretty. And that orange is bittersweet, which kind of changes. So that gives a lot of interest to it. And the berry basket is done very interestingly. It's usually do it in a circle, but it's 3, and then I'm going to skip 1, and 3, and then the line all the way across is solid. Let me show you that. It's really a fun way to do the berry basket. Let me see, get up close. Hopefully you can see that. But that was really fun, that way to do the little berry basket. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of berries, and then the top one. So work done, Emmeline Hotchkiss. And I did do a new start. I think it's one that I showed you that I was thinking about doing. And this one is on 46 count Thornfield, and I'm using 103 silks. And I kitted this, I mentioned this last time, when I was at the attic for Sampler Symposium. So this is M. Wood's 1759. It's a Norfolk sampler, which intimidated me till I looked at it, and there might be some specialty stitches, but not a lot, at least not so far. And I've read through the instructions, which I'll read through again. Here are the colors. I had to substitute, the light green was no longer available, so I substituted another light green, and then one of the grays was out of stock constantly, so I just substituted another one. So here are the colors, and then there is one of the threads, and I left everything over there, but one of the threads is not available and wasn't, and was very difficult to get. So I asked Jean what to do, and she recommended for this luminescent color to instead do Belle Soie cinnamon stick. And I'll show you where that's at. But these are the colors. Really, really elegant and pretty. And it's in the hoop. So I didn't want to take it out. It's in my antique double bow oval. Here it is. I found that at that antique store I told you about. Here's where, right there in the O, is where the luminescent was. But that's the first band, second band, third band. I'm just working on the little berries for the third band. So there that is, and let me show you again. It's just very pretty, very, very pretty. So started that since I talked to you last. And this is by Milady's Needle. And you can get this at the attic, and they would be able to kit it in 103, but they probably have a beautiful conversion too. So you could check with them on that. I did order two. Remember last time I was showing you the samplers that, all of the samplers that Jean had shown, 37 samplers, which I called because I placed an order for two. And when I was talking to Carolyn, I said, you know, 36, really, it's August and September, there should be 61. I'm okay if you did 61. And she just laughed. She says, oh, we could have, but just the work to get it up on the website. So I've ordered two of the samplers. When they come in, I will show you. So let's look at what, let me do a little haul. Okay, I've got the basket. Oh, there's the haul basket. And then I pulled things what I want to work on, and then we're still going to look at the quilts before I do that, before I do the haul. And I did, remember I said I was going to not do much because I'm going to the attic. Well, I've been really good. I'm going to Hobby House, and I've been really good. And then I did get some charts. It happens. It happens. Then I have that order from the attic that will be coming in. But I wanted to mention, I showed this last time, the Shores of Hawk Run Hollow. And I mentioned that that particular block I couldn't wait to get to, and then I found a painting in my mother's things that wasn't finished, close to being finished. But I did get a frame for it. And I will display them together once it's done. But Harley Girl Stitcher commented that this looks to her like this is the lobster, or the boathouse, or lobster shack, boathouse, in Rockport, Massachusetts. I think it's Rockport, or is it Rockport, Maine? But it is one of the most photographed places for artists. And they call it Motif 1 because it's so popular. So looking at that, she says, I think that's the one, the boathouse in Rockport. I don't know if it's Massachusetts or Maine. But we were in Maine when I was a teenager and Mom was painting then. Totally possible that she took pictures of that, and that's where the painting came from. And then I mentioned how I can't wait to stitch that motif. So I did want to mention that that's probably Motif 1, Rockport, Maine. And I'll talk about shores next another time, because I did have some questions about how I changed the colors and why for that particular block, but we'll talk about that another time. But that's what I have done on shores, and I don't intend on working on this till after Sampler September. So let me put that down there. So, okay, we've got Hall, and we've got what I want to work on. Oh, there's another pile right there. All right, let's do Hall. So I did purchase a few things. I'm not quite sure how to do this. I am trying to oh, and of course all the silks just went all over the place. Are they on the floor? Probably. No. Okay, sorry, talking to myself. So this is one that I purchased, and I keep a wish list on 123 Stitch. I also, of course, favor things on Etsy, so if I go to purchase something, I can go to my list. But I also keep just a note in my phone, and that way I can keep a list. So if I'm going to go someplace special like Hobby House or the Attic or some of these wonderful shops, I can refer to that because then I have things that I wanted to get. Well, this was one that I had put in my wish list, and the reason I purchased it was when I was inputting some of this genealogical material, I found an ancestor that I did not have, that my mother found, that I put into our chart. It's yet another ancestor from Salem from the 1600s. Got to do a little more research to see if she was involved in those witch trials. But I purchased this chart. It's by the Primitive Hare. It's called Rebecca Nurse. And I just loved that scene. And here's Rebecca's house. Rebecca Nurse was a real person. Let me see if I can show it without, I want to cover up the chart. Let's see if I can do it. Here's, yeah, got the chart covered up. There's Rebecca's house in Salem. And it uses 6 colors of DMC. There it is. And I might change the name to one of that ancestor. We have, I think, 4 now that I've found in Salem. But purchase some Vintage Country Mocha. Purchase 32 count. I don't know. I don't want to stitch with 2 threads, so I might change that. But here are the DMC colors. Let's see if I can. The red, of course, is the house, and then the way it's shaded to create more illusion of depth. I think the lighter shades on the front it is, and then the darker on the side, so you enhance the illusion that really does have shape. But I think that will be an October stitch. So got Rebecca Nurse ready. Let me, you know what? I'm gonna put this back so I don't dump it all over. So that was from the Primitive Hare, and I think I'm gonna change the linen because I don't want to stitch with 2 strands. And then I missed this with the Facebook group. The Homespun Facebook group that has exclusives. I miss this, and I wish I hadn't. But it is released. Wow, Iris Naps, Mary Gibson, 1828. You can, I think Hobby House has the charts, but you can also go to Wow Iris Nap website and purchase the PDF. So that's what I did. I don't have the linen pulled yet, but I did just order the Vicki Clayton silk pack for that. I just love those double red houses, and there is a new drum, and the house is from, the house, I'm looking at it, the house looks like on this drum is from the sampler. It's Mary's Drum, and I think this is only available from the Wow Iris Naps website. And Teresa, Jersey Girl Stitchers, she has finished the drum. She put it on her Instagram. It's gorgeous. And she designed some pins to go on it. Beautiful. So this is charted for DMC or combination of weeks and DMC or just straight DMC. So I opted to do the silk pack, but you certainly could do, I'm just looking, you could do the DMC, and the sample was done on Dirty Teacup 40 count linen and flax. So I did purchase those 2 PDFs. And then I was looking in my notes, looking at things that I wanted to purchase when I'm at Hobby House, and I noticed a couple of things that I could only get, well, I could only find a couple Etsy stores that had these, so I went ahead and got them. And they're older charts. I don't know if there's a copyright. I did not purchase anything linen or floss to go with it. I just wanted to get the chart. This is Plum Street, 2012. This is Eliza Scattergood. Now, the verse, let me read the verse. It says, Eliza Scattergood, her work, 1839, and it says, when I survey this work of mine, I am filled with joy and dread. May Christ my life with his entwine before my day's last thread. So if you didn't want to put the verse, you could just put the top in the house. But I just really fell in love with that. So I purchased the chart. That's not on the radar to start, but I did want to get it because it was an older chart. And then from Hillside Rookery, I found some, these are again older charts. This is Exemplar Dames Design, and Hillside Rookery carries several. And where's my notes? Oh, have I already buried my notebook? I'm going to put links to this, because that way you don't have to try to search for it. You can just click on the link. But this is another one. I didn't get any flosses or anything, but I wanted to get the chart while I could. It's called Meeting House, and it's a combination of a Quaker and a sampler, and then of course these houses. And the model was done on 40 count light sand, and it's charted with NPI. So if I don't want to do NPI, I could do a DMC conversion, but I just really thought that was an interesting design. So purchase that. And this is also, this is Exemplars from the Heart. Okay. This is Exemplar Dames Design, and this is Exemplars from the Heart. Are they the same company? It might be. They're the same company. Okay, Exemplars from the Heart. Okay, same company. This is Pumpkin Season, and again, I just thought this was so pretty. I'm trying to see if there's a copyright date. It's an older one. It's just so folk art. I love it. And it is charted with DMC or NPI. And it was done on 40 count tan marble. No, I do not see a date. But these older charts, I just thought I need to, well, it's dated 2006. But I thought I just need to get this. So I have it, so I'm not then searching for it. And then Country Sampler and Spring Green sent out their newsletter, which every time I see their newsletter, just like the Attic newsletter, every time I'm ordering something. But this wasn't in their newsletter, but I was searching around, looking at some of the designers, and this is Linda Danielson, Samplers Remember, and I fell in love with this. So I went ahead and ordered the chart and then called and said, go ahead and kit it. That way it's all kitted. This is Samplers Remembered Prudence Purring 1829. I just love it. I love the basket with the flowers. I just, everything about it. And they kitted it with 40 count baked clay. And then there are 7, looks like weeks. And Weeks and Gentle Arts and Classic Colors. They do such a beautiful job of their presentation when they kit things. Look at that. Because I was just going to get the chart. I thought, no, just, they have access to the linen on hand, the thread, just get it. That way I have it. It calls for 40 count straw, but I think this baked clay is a beautiful linen with that. Then I have 2 more things that I purchased. I'll tell you what, with all of the samplers, people are showing samplers they're doing, samplers they've done, charts they have kitted, charts that they haven't kitted and they want to do. I have such a list, which I love it because then you're seeing all kinds of things. This is Fanny Bromley, Hands Across the Sea. Again, I just love how this looks. And I think there are people that have finished this. I was looking on Instagram, and there are people that have finished it. I went ahead, these are the silks that are all over the place, because I opened it up yesterday, the silk pack, the Vicki Clayton silk pack, and I was going to start this yesterday, and then I got involved with Emmeline and that house, and I didn't start it. But I've pulled 2 linens that I'm thinking of using, and here are the silks. It calls for, let's see, creme brulee. But I pulled 2 different linens. This is 40 count stained china by Dames of the Needle, which I think this is one really good option. And then the other one I pulled that I have is I thought maybe I want to do 46 count. This is 46 Fox and Rabbit Mayflower. So that's why I didn't start it. I thought, which one? Which one? That's the stained teacup. This is the 46 count. I don't know. Leaning toward the stained china. Oh, that's why I didn't start it. So I might start that today, maybe. I don't know. And the other piece of haul is Hands Across the Sea, Emmeline, another M. Is that? It's not how you pronounce that. Emile. Call War. I'm brutalizing the name. 1890. But it's got the sampler, and then look at these specialized motifs. It's unusual. I like that. So I haven't pulled any linen for that yet, but I did get the Vicki Clayton silks, just so I'd have them, because I think that's a really nice silk option. And I've had people ask me, how do you decide when to do silk? You can see I've used a combination of DMC or hand-dyed. Sometimes if something looks really special, I will go ahead and kit it with silk. Other times, if I have the DMC, I'll just do that and start stitching. So it just depends. Also budget. What if I want to start something and I don't have the thread? I will do DMC because it's still going to be gorgeous. Shores that I just showed you is in DMC. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So never feel that things have to be done in one kind of floss or another. It's your choice. And we all have different options. So I know I showed some that are with silks, but I use a variety. So before we go to the, I don't want to use the word giveaway, but before we go to the quilts that are going to get to go live with someone else, I want to show you what's on my radar to start next. Let me get this. Try not to dump everything. Oh, and then I have a whole basket down here of things I pulled. I'll look at, oh, I knew that was going to be loud. I will look at our time, and I might save that for next time. But what I'm thinking of working on next, this is a bag from the Wishing Thorn. I haven't worked on this in a little while, and I think for Sampler September I need to. This is Scarlet Letter Needlework Panel of Fruit Trees with Two Animals. And I think Contented Needleworker Kim is doing this. It's got a lot of colors. So these are the DMC colors. I mean, a lot. And it's full coverage. There'll be some hanging threads, but it's because where I'm at, they just need to be there. Let me pull it up. But I love this. There is a lot of over one, but that's where I am. I just adore it. So I have got, I'm down in this corner down here. So that I think I'm going to show some love to here during Sampler September. Oh, stuff's falling. Now before I show you the other things, Friday is Friday the 13th, and I think it's the only Friday the 13th this year. So even though it's Sampler September, I thought, let me pull this out. I am going to pull out my Houses of Hawk Run Hollow because I'm going to work on that in October, I think. But then I'm going to work on this for Friday the 13th because the verse, here it is. The verse says, this work is mine, and then the name, and then the year is 1831, but I'll probably put my name and the year. And it says, oh, sorry, when I am dead and in my grave, I'm going to have to stop. I'm starting to sneeze, and oh, hold on. Sorry about that. I knew I was going to sneeze, and several times, so I just needed to get that passed. So the verse on this says, when I am dead and in my grave and all my bones are rotten, remember me when this you see, least I shall be forgotten. Remember me as you pass by, as you are now, so once was I. So I am now, as I am now, so must you be. Prepare for death and follow me. It is an actual verse that was used. So it's a little morbid, but it fits the style of the houses. So I think I'm going to work on houses. And here it is. I think I could do Remember Me. So I've got just about the first row done. I'm starting to do the boxes for the second, and I've got to chart my name and the year and put that in there. So I think I will work on that Friday, since it's Friday the 13th. So I think I'll do that. And the other one I wanted to mention, and I'm thinking I might work on this. Is it this one? Yes. There's several. This is Hands Across the Sea, A Lass That Is Gone, Margaret Anderson, 1830. This is an online class that you can take with Nicola. It's not a huge sampler. You can print it out. Let's see if it gives the size here. No, there's too many pages for me to find it quickly, but I have started it. And I'm mentioning this because last time I mentioned that I thought I recalled that you have a certain amount of time to look at the videos. That is not correct. You can refer to the videos as long as you need to. There is a time frame on downloading your chart. So that just, get it downloaded, get it printed out, and then you have it. But here are the flosses. Look at those gorgeous colors. This is DMC. Now, those colors, it's going to be so much more vivid than it's showing here. And it calls for, I actually have what it's called for and then changed it. Cocoa. You can do it in a variety of counts. I had picked 40 count cocoa because it's going to be beautiful. But then I saw on Instagram, and I can't remember who was working on it, they chose a lighter linen. So I'll show you which one that is. Oh, this is from number 12 Stitch Co. I love this. This is 40 count Celica. So I'm sorry there's a hanging thread, but I'll just have to ignore it. So this is what I've done so far. So I think I'm gonna make sure I give some attention to Margaret, along with the Scarlet Letter one I just showed, and then remember back in May, I was able to do the class with Nicola. Margaret, it's another Margaret Hutton, and this was with the Queen City Sampler Guild. We had a great time. Here it is. And here are the silks. This has quite a few specialty stitches, and I think I'm going to get back to that. This might even be today after I finish some Harriet Salt. So what you're going to see is on the top me practicing some of the specialty stitches, and then below is me working on it. So if it looks funny, these are the practiced, and then here it is. I think I might go back to Margaret today. Maybe not even finish the house on line, but go back to this. It's got cross stitch over one, alternating double back stitch, rice stitch, four-sided stitch, Algerian eyelet, double running stitch, and the queen stitch. And I think I practiced many of those right up here at the top. So I need to get back to that before I forget. And Nicola did provide us with videos that we could refer to for the stitches. So I think probably I'm going to save what I want to work on next, or what I'm thinking about. I think I'm going to save that for the next video because look, shameful. It's so hard to decide. I think I'm going to save it because we've talked about a lot and I don't want this to be too long. I will show you just a couple. I know, I said I wasn't, and now I'm showing you something. As I was pulling charts, and I will keep these so I can show you next video. I was pulling these charts and I thought, oh, dark, is it dark November or dark October, where a lot of times people will stitch on dark samplers. I pulled these out because I thought, ooh, I want to set those aside. So I'm thinking this might be dark. It's either October or November. This is Ann Campion. I received this at Sampler Symposium in 2023, but you can purchase it now. Ann Campion, 1845. So I think that's one. It's not huge. Of course, can I find it quickly? No. So we were provided, the design size is 8 by 8 basically. And we were provided with Tabby Cat Wood Smoke. And here are the colors. I mean, yes, it's dark, but there's a touch of pink. Must be where? Well, you got me where the pink is. There's a pink and a kind of a tan, but mostly it's dark. So that's going to look stunning on the wood smoke. So that's one I think I'm going to set aside for dark October, dark November. I guess it could be either. This has just been released, and Nicholas said this is a perfect companion. So if you have Ann Campion or you're thinking about getting Ann Campion, this is Georgiana Caroline Williams. She said this is a perfect companion, which I don't have anything pulled for that. But I thought, that is really a nice, let me put them side by side. So if you're doing samplers sets, that's going to be nice. And then the other dark one I pulled, and I actually did get some, don't remember doing this. Picked up 2 different silks, 103 and then Splendor. I haven't used Splendor. It's a 12 ply. If you've used Splendor, let me know. I picked it up to go with this. This is Just Stitching Along, Sarah Ann Fernley, 1826. Now, why did I get both of those? It's just one color black. Well, I guess if I'm going to do something really high count, that Splendor. If you've used Splendor, put it in the comments and we'll talk about it next time. Because I have no idea why I have both of those. I'm sure it's because I wanted to try it, but I should have put a note because I don't know. But this was done on 40 count Zweigart birch. Oh, this is why. Okay. Stitch on 40 count Zweigart linen in the color birch using Splendor black silk, 1 strand over 2. And then there are Algerian eyelets. And the Verissois 103 Nord is for the over 1. Ah, that's why. Okay. So it's done in Splendor, and then the over 1 is done in 103. I have to look at this a little more. So that is Sarah Ann Fernley. All right, so I'm not going to show the rest of what I pulled for Sampler September till next time, which 2 to 3 weeks should still be September. Let's see, this is the 10th. Well, if I'm going to come back in September, I need to make it before the 30th. So I'll just be back before the 30th. And here's my book of days. I don't have much in there. I've got to finish writing what I'm working on. But let's go to the quilts. All right, I have words for you to put in the comments. And if you could be a subscriber, that would be fantastic. So I have 3 quilts that have all been displayed at Quilt Market. These are all my fabric lines, and I showed this last time. I'm going to show you how, in the comment, don't say anything about giveaway. Just in the comment, use the words I'm going to show you. Doesn't even have to be in a sentence. You can, if you like all 3, you can use all 3 words. If you have a favorite, use that word. Okay, this one, you're going to use the word modern. And this was done with my gradated Serendipity line. Here it is. I can't get back far enough, but it's a wonderful table runner, bed runner. It's a long one. It's got to be about 48 inches. Oh, look how pretty that is. So if you would like this quilt to come home with you, use the word modern. And we will use a random comment generator to pull. Now, if you're watching this after October 2024, don't enter because it's already been given away. But if it's before that, you can enter. This one is neutral color, and you're going to use the word French braid in your comment. And you can comment or you can just use the words, totally up to you. So here it is in beautiful neutral palette. Let's see if I get back. So if you love that quilt, use the word French braid. And then we have my Celtic star, and you're going to use the word star. I'm going to have to stand to show you this. I love this collection. Oh, look at that. I love this quilt. I love the collection I designed that went with it. Look at the batik plaid. Oh, I love this one. There it is. It's a nice, it could be put on the wall. A lot of times I will use a quilt like this and lay it diagonally on a plain bed, especially if you have a white duvet cover and white linens. Put that diagonally on the bed. It's stunning. You can put it diagonally on a table. You can, like I said, put it on the wall, but use the word star. And I will pull those names before our next video, and I will be back before October because I do want to talk about these samplers because I'm trying to decide what, if I'm going to start a new one. I don't know. There's so many good ones, and you know what? We'll just look at them next time. So I'm going to sign off now. Leave you with that teaser. For next time, we'll look at that and then look at some things that I'm going to be doing in October. And then I'll figure out if it's dark October or dark November, or maybe it's both. I don't know. But thank you for watching. Thank you for all of you that subscribed. Thank you for all of you that commented, that gave me the thumbs up, the like button. I know I had quite a few people subscribe to my Instagram account. I appreciate that, or follow it. And then also subscribe on the channel here. Thank you for that. It means a lot. It really does. And I hope you've enjoyed all that I've shown you. You notice I put Sarah up on the wall. I hope I'm not kicked out of FlossTube and the stitching community for my mistake there, but perfectly imperfect. That's what she is. So until next time, which will be before the end of September, I'm going to sign off. I don't know which of these things I'm going to work on, but I really am thinking I might go straight to Margaret Hutton and work on some of these specialty stitches. Because I don't want to forget. Oh, I'm dropping silks everywhere. So until next time, I want to thank you for joining me. Bye, everyone. Have fun stitching.